begin with, or did Daddy tie it?
Daddy
You need
tied
some
it.
new strings, don't you?
We need
I have to go to Walmart and get you some new strings.
some new
Wait a minute,
shoes.
wait. No, not new shoes. You be careful of that stick. Be poking it around people's eyes.
We're just playing. Mom, we're just playing fighting.
No, we're not going to fight with those sharp sticks. No fighting, Brett.
Aunt or something of hers, or a great aunt that had gotten lost, that just disappeared, and she had, I mean, this is a long time ago when she told me this.
See, my grandmother gave took water and food to the Civil War soldiers.
She told me that. And
Now, I do remember that. I'm telling you.
Well, she
was
said
just
that.
A little girl, but
she said that one of her grandmamas, one of her aunts or something like that, had and they were coming down here, had gotten kidnapped or something, and had disappeared, and that there was, that the story meant that there had been this, they'd searched for all over, never found her, and she got kidnapped by other people. But I mean, I thought that's interesting. I'd like to know more.
I never heard that. But that's probably true.
But if people like that,
that's pretty clever. That takes a lot of.
Shot a cannon on them neck.
The soldiers. How about that? Wish the boys were in here to see that. Sharon, you better peep out there. Where are they?
I mean, you lose the ability to even find out that information.
Well, I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny, and I know that I probably just have heard this story and never did pay attention to it, but when Granddaddy was here and he was sick, he got talking the night before he went to the hospital out there, and he was telling about Grandma's daddy and Grandma's brothers, and Grandma was sitting out there. It's a funny story, but, and Daddy said he's told the story before, and I'm sure it's true, because Granddaddy was telling it like it was true. It's back when the unions first started coming into the mills, and Granddaddy was the personnel director at the mill, and he well, to say Granddaddy's words, he had a bunch of children, and he had to make a living, so he had to go to work. And his Esther's daddy and brothers they wanted the union to come in, because they were just ordinary mill workers. Is that right, Dad?
Yeah.
They worked, I guess, on the lower echelon, but Granddaddy by this time had worked himself up to personnel director. And so it came to be a question about whether they were going to unionize or not. And so Granddad, they went on strike. And Granddaddy went to work, because you weren't supposed to go to work, if you were for the union. So they were going against the mill, and Granddaddy had to go to work, so they came down to their house. I think this is funny, because I've heard these stories about how feisty Grandma Maddox was when she was young. And I'm sure she was, because she could still be feisty 10, 15 years ago. She's not too feisty anymore, but anyway, the brothers and her daddy came down there and was, going to beat Jess up, I guess, for going to work. And Grandma went in there, and she got the kitchen butcher knife, as big a butcher knife as she could find, and she came out in there and told him to get out the house and to go home and never come back. She chased him out with a butcher knife. And I mean, Jess was telling this, Granddaddy Maddox, he was telling it like, that she was going to put that knife in them, and they believed her. Isn't that what he was telling, Grub? Isn't that the gist of it?
That's the gist of it. I think that Daddy was, as personnel director of Callaway Mills, was sort of on the hot seat. He was the one having to tell them that they weren't going to get the raises, and then they then announced that everybody who didn't come back to work could never work at Callaway again. And that's what. And they gave Daddy a gun. He had to go. In fact, he had to go out of town.
He said he went and bought a gun. He
Got
said
a
it's the
gun.
only gun he'd ever bought in his life.
And he had the gun because they were, people throwing things
He was
behind.
scared for his life.
And,
And you hear some of those movies and some of those tales that happened back then, I can see why he was.
yeah. Billis was born, about then, that was my mom. I think mother was expecting Phyllis, and he had to get a gun. And in fact, Mr. Calloway took him and hid him. He was so mad because he was a spokesman. He was one of them to carry out he was working for the company. He was and Dad was the first personnel director of Callaway Mill.
Well, what year was that? That would have been.
I was about 19.
About 1930, about the time I was born.
About 1932. It was right after Roosevelt was elected, and the governor of Georgia called out the National Guard. See, the National Guard had come to LaGrange. Now, we weren't living there where we were living, but all up and down that street were troops trying to keep order in the plants. That was the unit that those two plants down there were the first two plants that Callaway had. And,
That union thing was a big deal. I've seen movies about that. People got killed over
they
it.
wanted to get shorter hours and better working conditions and more money, and Callaway was trying to tell them that, you know, that give them time, that they were going to go under. And until 1941, when the Second World War started, 42, they lifted the ban. They said anybody that didn't go back to work could never, or any of their family, immediate family, could ever work for Callaway. And in 1942, when they were begging everybody to work, then I remember a big deal full of Callaway Jr. His dad had already died, and lifted that ban.
The ban on people that didn't go back.
People allowed people to come back to work there, and if they had participated in the strike or didn't go back. But it was a time where people, you know, throwing things at the house and honking their horn and threatening and all this kind of stuff. But Granddaddy Palmer was, you know, for the union. Some of the other brothers were, and then they all left LaGrange and then went back up to Alabama. My granddad did. He died. Granddad died in 1936.
What Granddaddy?
Granddad Palmer.
Oh, I thought Granddaddy Maddox didn't die in 1936.
I was 5 years old when Granddad Palmer died. I remember him taking me in to see him. He wanted to see his grandchildren, and he was at home. He'd had a stroke. And all he could do was use one hand, and I remember, I can still, he wanted to touch all our heads, rub our hair. My grandmother Palmer didn't die in 1954. After I graduated, in fact, I was pallbearer at her funeral. In 1954, she died right after I graduated from Farmington.
As a kid, I came out to root for Doak Walker, the Lions, in this traditional game, and the fans here.
Granddaddy Maddox lived a long time.
Granddaddy Maddox died in 1973.
I remember him. I remember him sitting in that rocking chair down there.
Yeah, we got a picture. They had a picture down at the house of you and Mike.
I remember having that picture made. That was made out at his house, though, wasn't it? Or at Aunt's
house.
That's right.
She got killed about a year after that.
Hit by a train, wasn't it?
The marquee name for the Houston Oilers is Warren Moon. He will play on the injured list. Broken shoulder. Cody Carlson takes over the controls.
Where are the boys outside?
I was talking to Brenda the other night. She was asking me if I needed anything for her to do. I said, well, I don't know. You know, she's so far away. It's hard for her to keep anybody even at her house.
Yeah, I don't want to stay.
It's just too far away.
NFL Live is brought to you by Volvo. Volvo would like you to drive safely.